I hope you have unlimited text messaging by Miss Carr. Chapter 37, Conversation 30. It gets better. Anthony, I'm still mad. No mad. You have every right to be. I'm just glad that you're actually text messaging me again. I don't think you've gone this long without talking to me in a while. Anthony, I needed to come to terms with a few things and maybe read through the Howard diaries. That requires 3 pints of Ben & Jerry's since Jack and Jim are off limits. Also vast quantities of pizza with the junior archers. No, man. I understand. Anthony, I'm not actually mad at you. After thinking about it and having 2 wonderful sessions with Dr. Suarez, I realized that you were just being cautious and didn't want to worry me for no good reason. I mean, if things turned out the other way and there was nothing there, I would have been glad that you waited to tell me. No, man. But you're mad at me because you discovered that someone who was almost like an aunt to you growing up was caught in the crosshairs during an assassination attempt on your father. Anthony, again, I'm not mad at you. I am furious at a lot of people who are no longer with us because they lied to me. No, man. They were trying to protect you. Anthony, I think we established that I don't like being lied to for the sake of protection. I'm also not a fan of lies of omission. No matter how bad things are, I need to know the truth. I have a need to know the truth. No, man. I get that now. Anthony, at least you figured that out before you died, which is more than I can say for a lot of people on my list right now. No, man. There's no point in being angry at the dead. Anthony, I know that. It is just a lot of bad memories are being brought up. I'm having trouble dealing with the realization that very little of my childhood is what I thought it was. No, man. Do you want to talk about it? Anthony, not really. But if I don't say something to you, then I have to work on this in therapy, and I'd rather talk to you. No, man. I'm listening. Or rather, reading. Anthony, I remember everything from when it happened. Aunt Peggy picked me up from school, which should have been the first sign something was wrong. She got me ice cream, and then we ended up spending the night at some big fancy hotel that I can't even remember the name of. Although, I do remember guards being outside. That should have been sign number 2. That something was really wrong. Anthony, Mom showed up the next morning wearing sweats of all things, with a box of French chocolates to break the news. Her wearing sweats really should have been sign number 3. Mom never wore casual clothes. I think that's the only time in my life I've seen her dress like that. No, man. You were 9 years old, Tony. It's not your fault you didn't understand what everything meant at the time. Anthony, I also didn't realize that the entire dining room being remodeled meant something other than Anna falling off a ladder happened. I saw pictures of the bullet holes in the walls and blood-covered carpets. Nothing was salvageable, which explains the full makeover. However, my kid brain didn't put everything together. Why would you completely gut a room if someone just fell off a ladder changing a light bulb? Anthony, once the renovations were complete, it was a different space, complete with the windows being removed. Even then, Jarvis never walked into that room again. I don't even think we ever ate dinner in there again. According to the reports, Jarvis was there when it happened. She died in his arms. No, man. Again, you were 9 years old. I would have never pieced things about my father together if it wasn't for the Fury Eyes only report I received. Anthony, you know that was not the only attempt made on Dad. There were 10 assassination attempts between 1970 and 1991 alone. That was attempt number 3. No, man. Jesus, he should have told you what was going on. Maybe not all the details, but enough so you could understand the gravity of the situation. Anthony, definitely. It would have been nice to know enough to understand why people were shooting at my dad, in addition to knowing that they were doing it in the first place. I didn't even know about his involvement in S.H.I.E.L.D. until Fury broke into my house way back in 2009. No, man. Not knowing can be dangerous. I think I made that point clearer when we were talking about Queens 2 weeks ago. Anthony, you know what's worse than that is I blame myself. No, man. For Anna dying? Anthony, for getting sent off to gifted kid boarding school. I always thought it was my father's happiest day because he was finally getting me out of his hair. I wasn't aware that 3 months earlier, someone tried to kill him and killed his best friend's wife instead. No, man. He sent you away to be safe. Anthony, that was in the diaries, and Peggy hinted at it. But the 9-year-old that I used to be felt like he wasn't loved, and that's why he was in the way. No, man. I don't think their intent was malicious. I think they just wanted to keep you a sweet little kid, as long as they could. Anthony, which was absolute bullshit. I'd already had my first kidnapping by that point. It would have been nice to know that people were after me because my daddy was a spy, that people wanted me dead, and not because of being heir to the Stark Empire. Anthony, Lila is 6, and she knows that Clint is staying away because the bad guys want to hurt him, and he doesn't want her to get caught in the crossfire. Why couldn't Howard sit down and have that conversation with me? No, Ed. I don't know. Maybe it was a different time back then. They were in the middle of the Cold War. Maybe he didn't want to make you a target. Anthony, Jackie knew that her mom was the spy. So did her brother. I don't even think Michelle was clueless about it either. No, Matt. Well, it probably would have been really hard to hide her mom being the public founder of S.H.I.E.L.D. Anthony, Jackie and her brother got self-defense classes, and I got sent to boarding school. Nomad, you did say that you were happier in the school with your intellectual peers. Anthony, and I would have been happier there, knowing that I was at smart kid school because my dad loved me and wanted to keep me safe. Not because he hated me and never wanted to see me again. I actually thought he hated me because I could never live up to the ghost of Captain America. Anthony, and yes, I finally accept that Captain America and Steve Rogers are two totally different people. Captain America was a god among men, and Steve Rogers is a sexy asshole who tries to do the right thing, even if he goes badly. No, man. You really believed that Howard hated you? Why? Because you couldn't live up to some arbitrary, unreal standard? Because nobody could be everything Captain America stands for. Not even me. He wasn't real. At best, he was an exaggeration of the truth. Anthony, at the time, yes. Now, I'm not sure what I believe. I'm just angry and confused. No, man. I just wish I knew what to say to make you feel better. Anthony, I think the fact that you want to somehow make me feel better is helping in some way. Sometimes just knowing you're not alone helps. No, man. You're not alone. I may be thousands of miles away, but I'm still here. Anthony, and I want you here. I definitely don't want to go nearly a week without talking to you again outside of an emergency. No, man. But, Anthony, no more lying outside of national security matters anyway. We don't keep things from each other that we're able to tell. If this relationship is going to work, we have to be honest with one another, even when it hurts. No, man. What is our relationship? Anthony, I have no idea. See, the honesty thing is already kicking in. No, man. I find you very confusing, and yet I really like you. Not your money, not your brains, not your swagger. Just you. I care about you. Anthony, I care about you too. Hey, Rhodey just showed up to the tower. I'll talk to you later. No, man. Okay.